Alright, Internet, welcome back. Today's episode is about how one sentence in Japanese politics turned into international outrage, deleted threats, canceled vacations, and a phrase that absolutely should not exist in diplomacy. This is a story about power, projection, expectations, and a Chinese diplomat who apparently thought dirty neck will be cut off was an appropriate response in 2025. Spoiler, it was not. Before we get into Taiwan, China, and tourism chaos, you need to understand who Sanae Takaichi is, because this wasn't just another politician talking out loud. Takaichi has long been seen as a leading contender to become Japan's first ever female prime minister. Not one of many, not symbolic, the first. Japan has never had a woman in the top job, so a lot of people, especially conservatives, projected their hopes onto her like she was a political mirror, but not hopes for softness or compromise. Takaichi is known as a hardline conservative, tough on China, strong on national defense, critical of Japan's post-war pacifist restraints. To her supporters, she represents something close to a Republican-style Japan. Less apology, more deterrence, more realism, less pretending the world is a Studio Ghibli movie. So when she talks about security, people don't hear theory. They hear a preview of the future, and that's where the trouble started. During a diet session, which is supposed to be boring, Takaichi made a statement about Taiwan. She said that if China were to use military force against Taiwan, it could be considered a survival-threatening situation for Japan. And under Japan's security laws, that might justify Japan acting under collective self-defense. Legally speaking, this wasn't completely insane. Politically speaking, this was like lighting a match inside a fireworks factory and asking, "What?" Because Japan's constitution famously says, "Please do not do war." And although Japan loosened that interpretation in 2015, actually saying it out loud, especially about Taiwan, is still extremely sensitive, and China noticed. Immediately, China's official reaction started in the usual way. Strong objections, statements about hurting feelings, calls for Japan to reflect deeply, standard diplomatic bingo. Then it escalated. A Chinese consul general in Osaka posted on social media that the dirty neck that sticks itself in must be cut off. Yes, that is a real sentence. No, this is not Game of Thrones. The post was later deleted, but by then it was too late. Screenshots exist forever. Translation accounts went wild. Diplomats everywhere quietly face-palmed, because threatening metaphors about cutting necks are generally frowned upon in modern diplomacy. Here's the thing, even people who dislike Takaichi went, maybe don't say that. Japan formally protested the language. International media picked it up. Analysts started using words like reckless, unnecessary, and what are you doing? The irony? The threat made China look far more aggressive than Takaichi's original comment ever did. Basically, Japan says something legally vague. China responds like a comic book villain. Everyone stops talking about Japan's comment and starts asking why diplomats are tweeting threats, not exactly a win. Inside Japan, reactions were sharply divided. Supporters said, "She's just stating reality. Japan can't pretend Taiwan doesn't matter." Finally, someone says it out loud. Critics said this was reckless. She escalated tensions for no reason. This is why she shouldn't be prime minister. Opposition parties accuse her of undermining Japan's pacifist stance and damaging diplomacy. Meanwhile, the ruling party tried to walk it back by saying she was speaking hypothetically, which is political code for, "Please stop asking us about this." Then the conflict spilled into something governments care deeply about: money. China advises citizens to avoid traveling to Japan, citing safety concerns. Suddenly, Chinese tour bookings dropped. Group tours were canceled, hotels, and souvenir shops started sweating. And here's where the story gets complicated. Because while businesses were worried, some Japanese locals reacted with relief. In interviews, some shop owners and residents openly said things like, maybe it's okay if they don't come right now. Not because they hate tourists, but because of long-standing frustration with rude behavior from a minority of visitors. Loud behavior, line cutting, disrespect at shrines, trash issues. Important note, this wasn't all Chinese tourists. It was frustration with over-tourism and manners, finally bubbling up. So the situation became awkward, economically painful, socially complicated, politically explosive. Japan was simultaneously losing tourists and questioning whether mass tourism was worth it. This whole saga shows how fragile geopolitics is right now. One politician's comment triggered diplomatic threats, national protests, tourism declines, domestic cultural debates, all without a single shot fired. It also showed how Takaichi's image magnifies everything. If a low-level official said this, no one would care. But when a woman seen as a future prime minister says it, a woman expected by conservatives to change Japan, every word becomes symbolic. She isn't just speaking for herself, she's auditioning. Let's tally this up. Hypothetical legal comment to international incident check, mark Diplomat threatens. Dirty next to deletes, tweet, checkmark, tourism. Drops to locals, shrug awkwardly. Checkmark, analysts compare it to past territorial crises. Checkmark, everyone pretends this was predictable, absurdity level, maximum. Here's the takeaway, words matter more than missiles. Metaphors should not include decapitation. Tourism is more fragile than diplomacy, and projecting hopes onto politicians always backfires. Also, if you're trying to look calm and reasonable on the world stage, maybe don't respond to a legal argument with medieval imagery. Just a suggestion. Japan isn't on the brink of war, China isn't invading tomorrow, and Takaichi didn't start World War III. But this episode proves something important. Modern politics isn't about actions anymore. It's about vibes, wording, screenshots, and how fast things spiral. And sometimes the most dangerous weapon in geopolitics is a badly worded post. If you enjoyed this breakdown of international chaos with just enough sarcasm to stay sane, hit like, subscribe, and comment below. And remember, in politics, the pen is mightier than the sword, but the tweet is mightier than both.